The boy and the tiger had been at sea for over 200 days. By now the tiger was lying on the boat, skinny and dying. The boy fed the tiger what little fresh water he had left, but the tiger, who hadn't eaten for days, couldn't even lift his hand. The boy picked him up and put him on his lap and slowly stroked the tiger's forehead. He was so sad that he shed tears and began to miss his mom and dad. Before he was killed, he was a young boy who was studying. His name was Pi, but his name was similar to Pee-wee and everyone at school called him Pee-wee. Even the teachers sometimes called him by the wrong name. So on the second day of school, Pi introduced himself confidently in every class. In order to make his classmates remember his name, he recited the 1,000 digits of Pi on the blackboard. Since then, Pi's name has been memorized by the whole school. The tiger slowly approached the boy outside the bars. The boy's face showed horror and his hands tensed as he held the raw meat. The tiger also showed a tender expression, and just as the tiger was about to eat, suddenly his father appeared in time to stop the boy. Pi explained that he just wanted to be friends with the tiger. When he heard this, the father was furious and scolded Pi. Then the father had his staff bring in a lamb and tie it to the bars. Today, the father will show Pi that tigers are just cold-blooded animals and that Pi's behavior was stupid. As the staff slowly opened the cell door, the tiger, who hadn't eaten meat for 3 days, reappeared and slowly approached the lamb. And the next moment he quickly pounced on the lamb. This is how the beasts live. And Pi's heart was never at peace. Years later, Pi grew into a handsome man and met the girl he loved. But that didn't last long as the government began to reform the family's zoo and took away all the land. His father decided to take his family and all the animals and immigrate to a foreign country to make ends meet. Then they boarded a ship to Canada. During the meal, the mother, who believed in God, never ate meat and asked the cook if he had any vegetarian dishes. But the chef took out a leaf and put it on the plate. The father felt he was being tricked and asked again if it was a vegetarian dish. Not meat. But this time the chef took out a plate of white rice from underneath and threatened to cook whatever he wanted. The father was furious. He grabbed the chef by the collar and scolded him. With no food to eat, Pi had to eat bananas that were fed to the animals. In the middle of the night, a storm broke out and a wave hit the ship, filling it with seawater. Pi had just escaped from the ship, and before he knew it, he was pushed out of the lifeboat by the crew. Just as the others were about to jump on board, a zebra leapt from above and jumped into the lifeboat. The lifeboat was swept away by the waves, and when Pi grabbed hold of the boat, he found it had been swept dozens of meters away. Scared, Pi grabbed his whistle and shouted, but the waves were too loud to be heard from the other side. At that moment, Pi seemed to spot a man swimming in the waves. He grabbed a life preserver and threw it to him, pulling him towards him as hard as he could. Then he grabbed an oar and reached for it, only to find that it was his own tiger. Just as Pi was about to push it away, a wave slammed the tiger into the boat and Pi climbed to the stern of the boat, clutching the oars for dear life. Until the next day, the tiger had disappeared from the boat and only the wounded zebra was lying there. Pi climbed back into the boat and used a bucket to clean out the water. As he lay down to rest, a hyena crawled out from the bottom and Pi grabbed the oars to defend himself.